Hey everybody, Bahush here, speaking for Fotodioxpro.com. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the all-new Sharkcage. The Sharkcage is a camera cage custom made for your camera. So whether you're shooting with one of the slimmer Sony cameras like my a7 here, or one of the slightly thicker cameras like the a7II here, we've got a custom camera cage for you. And I say that it's custom because it's made to exactly mimic the shape of the camera, give you all the flexibility for mounting stuff that a larger cage system does, but it doesn't add that much to the size of the camera. You want to keep it compact so that you can do your run and gun shooting wherever you are. Now, the a7II, amazing camera. Great for photo, magnificent for video, 4K video. Here's the thing, the compact size, nice for travel, but it's only got the one handle, so it's not that easy to keep it stable when you're shooting. Also, there aren't really any good places to mount additional stuff, like let's say a monitor, an external recorder, or a microphone. That's where the Sharkcage comes in. So let's unbox this guy, which comes in both a black finish and a silver finish like you see here. And we're going to take a look at everything that comes in the kit. So let's see, we've got protective foam, you can ignore that. We include a little cable, micro HDMI to full-sized HDMI. I will go on my little rant about this in a minute. Here's the core piece. Okay, you've got the main piece plus the leather wrist strap. Let's move this out of the way for a moment. You get a top handle. You get a shark bite wrench. Little bag of screws. You also get this block, which is for mounting the rod system. And remember, this all comes with the kit. And here are a pair of 12-inch rods. Rods are great for adding more accessories or longer lenses. And then you don't need this box anymore. First thing, let's put together the core of the system. So if you flip it over on the bottom, you'll see there's an Arca Swiss plate installed. Great if you've got a tripod with Arca Swiss. Easy to pull off, and you can just use this with a regular tripod and all these 1/4-20 mounting points. Plus, this is what interfaces with the rod system, but we'll get back to that in a minute. So let's remove it using the included Allen key. Now underneath here you can see where another one of these Allen keys is going to go, Allen screws is going to go, and that's what holds the camera in. Before we do that, flip it back up. This is the wrist strap. It actually snaps around your wrist for a nice secure hold on the camera. And you'll note that there's a little slot right here in the top deck of the Sharkcage. That's where we attach the strap, and it might be a little bit easier to do it when the Sharkcage is in this state right now. So let's mount that right now. Right there you go, we got the strap in. Gonna leave a little extra room because I've got a big gorilla hand. Okay, we're ready to mount the camera. So the camera just slides in, and here's where you can see how it is made custom to fit this camera. Now you can already see where it doesn't really add that much to the size of the camera, but there are your mounting points, there's an extra handle. Let's flip this over and we will bolt the camera into place. Make sure that the strap kind of stays in this cutout expressly for it. And we use one of these Allen screws to do the install. Like so. Okay. We could be just ready to go right now, but I'm going to put the Arca Swiss plate back on because we're going to need it in a little bit. Okay, like so. Okay, so let me take you on a quick tour of the Sharkcage now that we've got it all built. Now on this side of the cage, you've got one of the most prominent features of the Sharkcage, which is the rosewood handle. Great for using in combination with the camera's handle itself to keep a nice steady shot, especially critical when you're shooting video. Now let's move to behind the handle, and this is the integrated cable pinch system. This is an important part of the Sharkcage, and you're going to wonder how you lived without it. A cable pinch system lets you, plug your cables in as you normally would, your HDMI, your microphone cables. And then using these nylon screws, you're able to pinch the cable into place. That way it can't get yanked out by somebody tripping on the cable or just kind of creeping out a little bit and wrecking a shot. So there's a setup step here that you only need to do once, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This is the a7II cage with no camera in it, so you can see the cable pinch assembly a little easier. If you're going to be using the A7 Sharkcage, it has a little different procedure for the cable pinch, which I'll show you in a second. So let's remove this guy just by using this one brass screw. We've got one setup step. You only ever have to do this once. We need to take these 4 tiny headless screws and mount them in the middle, in this middle bit here. We're going to use the included screwdriver, but obviously feel free to use any screwdriver you may have. And on the little headless screw, locate the side that has the little slot in it. We're going to mount all 4 on this center partition. Okay, locate the slot and just screw it in like you would any other screw. Be gentle, because you don't want to cross-thread it, obviously. Now we're going to put the other 2 in here. It's a little trickier. So you just rest it in there, and then you put your screwdriver through the other screw hole. And again, just nice and easy. If you feel a lot of resistance, that means it's cross-threaded, but as you can see, I'm able to get it in there pretty easily, and there you go. Now remember, you don't have to crank on it. If you're cranking on it, it's a little cross-threaded. And the idea here is, when I now add these short thumb screws on this side, that's how you pinch the cable. And if you need to adjust the length of this screw, well, just back that one up. Like if you're using an especially thick cable, you can screw it in a couple more twists and get a little more clearance out of it. Let's put this back on the Sharkcage like so. Use the brass screw to mount it. And this is one of the great features of the Sharkcage. You can remove this anytime, because sometimes it's actually easier to take the pinch plate off, thread the cable through the pinch plate, and then put the plate back on the camera. But on this rear side, you use the short screws for the cable pinch, and on the front, you'll use the longer screws to make sure that you get all the way through the front frame. Like so. Now, if you're using the A7 version of the Sharkcage, the pinch plate is a little bit simpler. You just pop it off the end using the 2 brass screws. So here, this little skinny guy is going to get these headless screws. So just line it up. Make sure you've got the slot end pointing up. And then very carefully roll that in. And remember, you do this once, you never have to do it again. So you do like this, etc., etc. And then once you mount it back on the cage, again you use the brass thumb screws like so. Then you reach for these screws, also included in the kit, and there's your pinch right there. Now, one thing to bear in mind, see this gap right behind? That's left there on purpose. That's so that you can leave the little cable door open on the Sony and just tuck it back there, and that'll keep the door open so that you can easily plug things in and out. Okay, now the cable pinch system is ready to go. And to use the cable pinch, one thing we do to help you out is we include this micro HDMI to regular HDMI cable. Here's one. I hate micro HDMI, hate it, because these cables are really hard to find. So we include one in the kit, and you just use the micro side to plug into the camera, and then this side can plug into any sensible HDMI anything in the world. So just keep that guy handy. Now let's keep looking around. The back is all open, so you can access all the things you need. Again, 1/4-20 mounts on the bottom for mounting stuff. There are also 1/4-20 mounts right there on the front. So you've got lots of options for mounting things. And oh, the wrist strap. The wrist strap is leather. We mounted it like so, and you use this little guy, this strap right here, loop it around, and now I'm actually locking the camera to my wrist. Okay, the leather pad keeps it comfortable. And now what's great, I can't drop the camera. Now, you don't have to use the strap if you don't want to. It's not on there permanently, but it's a pretty nice addition. Nice and steady shooting, and a little extra safety. Okay, so let's add the top handle. Now, what's nice is there are several places you can mount it. You can have it facing the rear of the camera, which is kind of the common way to carry the camera around. You also get a cold shoe adapter on the front, mount a microphone or a light up there. But if you're using a larger lens, which we're going to do in a minute, you might want to mount the handle this way. Because the center of gravity is more kind of toward the front of the camera, this can make it easier to carry it in a balanced way. Plus, this joint can angle however you want it to, and it's got a rosette to lock it into place once you tighten this. So if you're doing like a nice low angle shot, you want the camera to tilt down, really easy to do. Plus, the handle has mounting points built into it. So if you're not needing it for handle type duties, mount it sideways like this or like this, and you've got more places to add even more gear. So we're going to add it facing forward. And I want to make sure to use the holes that let me center the handle over the center of the lens. I'm going to use the ones all the way on this end. Drop in 2 more Allen screws. And you want to make sure that these 2 screws are secure because obviously you're relying on them to carry your whole rig around. Okay, there we go. Now let's get crazy. We've got included in the Sharkcage kit a complete rod system, critical for mounting longer lenses on the front. Let me show you how easy it is to add. So this block is what clips onto the bottom where the Arca Swiss plate is. And it's just a simple push button, and then there's a thumb screw to like really tighten it up. So let's fly these bars into here. Now, notice the bars are a good length for adding like this, for like a really long lens, or extra accessories like a lens shade on the front or follow focus, or sometimes you can just have it sort of in the middle like we have here because you may want to clamp other accessories on the back of the camera. However you want to do it, it's fully configurable. I'm going to tighten these thumb screws kind of finger tight, but to really drive it home you want to use a Sharkbite, which is our wrench that we use for GoPro screws, and you'll notice these are the same kind of screw. And the Sharkbite is included in the kit, and I will mention my favorite part of the Sharkbite, the bottle opener at this end of the Sharkbite, for when you guys buy me a beer when we meet at some convention somewhere. If you forget the Sharkbite, right in the middle, it's the same Allen screw, so you can just use an Allen to do so. Make sure that's a little bit loose. Slide the bar system right there. I'm going to finger tighten this rear thumb screw, and I'll use the Sharkbite to really cinch it on. Now the beauty part is if you're on a busy shoot, you can just use the push button to pull this thing off. You can very quickly go from big rod mode to running around run and gun mode. So let's add a big lens to the front of this guy just to show you how this works. So right now I've got a vermilion lens on the front. Here are some accessories we'll use to mount this guy, the Nikon 14-24, one of the best darn lenses in the world. But as you can see, it's a big honkin' lens. And once we put it onto this Sony camera with the adapter, that's a lot of weight to put on the lens mount. So let's make life easier for our little camera. Here's the lens adapter. Okay. Nice thing about this lens adapter is it's got an aperture control ring built right in, so you have full control over that lens. Let's get the vermilion lens off. And we'll mount the Nikon lens with the adapter right onto the camera. To support this big lens, we're going to use this optional accessory, a Fotodiox lens yoke. Now, depending on your lens, you might want to put this on before you put on the lens. I happen to know I can slide this on lickety-split with no problem, like so. I'm going to finger tighten that screw, maybe use a Sharkbite to really do a good job. And now we can just elevate this little support to help hold up the lens. Tighten that guy, and there we go, fully supported lens. So that's a look at the Sharkcage for Sony cameras. As you can see, we're able to keep the size relatively compact for all the flexibility that you get. Don't forget you take those bars off and everything, you've got a really nice handheld setup as well. Now we've got two different versions of the Sharkcage depending on which Sony camera you've got. This Sharkcage is for the A7, the A7S, and the A7R. While this Sharkcage is a little bit bigger for the larger camera models, the a7II, the a7S II, and the a7R II. They both come with the same stuff, they both have the same flexibility, they're just custom made for your camera. If you want to learn even more about either model, just click on the link down below this video. You'll be taken to a catalog page with all the details, and you can make one of these Sharkcages your very own starting today. And don't forget to click right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can get more videos just like this one. My name's Bahush. Thanks for watching.